Hello everyone. So in today's module, we are looking at how to define your service and location. So this is a really important module because it really establishes the foundation for the rest of our business. So if we have the service and location incorrectly chosen, then it doesn't matter how we market the business or how we run recruitment or how we manage internal operations, the company will just not grow very quickly and will not be successful at all. So this module is really important, whether you're a completely new business starting up or whether you're an established business, because it's worth very much going through this to review whether in fact that you have chosen the service and location correctly. So this is a picture of Albert Einstein here. He had a very well-known quote that said, he said that the definition of genius is taking the complex and making it simple. And something I find happens an awful lot, particularly in this industry, is that you will get lots of companies that offer lots of different services. So maybe they offer residential cleaning, they do commercial cleaning, they do office cleaning, carpet cleaning, oven cleaning, window cleaning, everything cleaning related. And they are just really generalists. And it is very difficult to differentiate yourself from the rest of the competition if you take this route. So as I say here, simplicity is the key to specializing, better pricing and quicker growth. So we'll go into the details of why it's so important to specialize, but really at the end of the day, the more specialists you are, the better you'll become known in the market for having that specialist service. You'll be able to charge higher prices and you'll be able to grow quicker. So really, this is the key to growing your business quickly. And as I said here, don't underestimate how important this is, even if you've been in business for a number of years, because you need to revisit these points and make sure that you have a solid foundation. So these two people, many of you will know who they are. So Steve Jobs on the left, who was previously the founder at Apple, and Jeff Bezos at Amazon. So these two have very relevant stories for this module, really. So both of them are firm believers in simplicity. So Steve Jobs, back in 1997, he had previously set up Apple, but then had been forced out of the business by the board of directors after an internal dispute, and Apple during the mid-late 90s was really performing pretty badly. They were losing lots of money, and I think they had less than 30 days cash in their bank accounts before they asked Steve Jobs to return. And what he did in 1997 was quite revolutionary. So Apple was producing lots of different products, but what Steve Jobs did was basically completely scrapped 80% of all the product line. And he said, no, the way that we grow out of this mess is by focus on what we are really good at, and not spreading ourselves too thin across lots and lots of different product lines. So he scrapped 80% of the products pretty quickly, and the company came back to growth and became was the largest and largest business on the listed stock markets, right up until he was running that business. So an example here, Steve Jobs focusing on what was really important, not being spread across too many product categories. Jeff Bezos, the CEO and founder of Amazon, another example. Obviously Amazon today sell everything and anything, but obviously at the beginning when they first set up, they were just selling books online. So his approach was to focus on a particular product set to begin with, prove that works, scale that up, and then look to add other products as well. He didn't start off Amazon.com by selling everything and anything under the sun. He focused on what he was good at, or what the company was good at to begin with, grew the business, and then added it there. So, we should take a very similar approach with how we set up and scale our own cleaning businesses. We want to be specializing in those specific niches within cleaning where we think we have expertise. and grow the business from there. And if at a further point down the line we add different products, cross-sell different products, then that is absolutely fine. But really, to get the business growing and generating good profits for us, we need to be thinking about specialization. So in this slide, we go into a bit more detail about the reasons for specialization. So I touched on this a little bit at the start of the presentation. So we're looking at three categories here. So the client marketing, cleaner recruitment, and scaling and growth. So we'll go through each of these in a bit of detail. So on the client marketing side, it is very likely that in your particular area, you find there are lots and lots of cleaning companies. The cleaning industry is great in many ways because the barriers to entry are so low. So it means that anyone really can set up a cleaning business, particularly in, if they're doing residential cleaning or commercial cleaning, where there's not a lot of equipment required or not a lot of training required. So you find that in many areas of the world that there are lots and lots of cleaning companies. So it is quite hard to think about how you differentiate yourselves. How are we different to another cleaning company down the road that also does the same service as we do? And this is where specialization is really important, because if you are known in your area as the specialist office cleaning company, so we just do office cleaning for companies up to from 0 to 50 employees. If you are very, very focused on that side, what will happen is that you will get good expertise and good knowledge of all these different types of offices. You'll know exactly how to clean the communal areas, how you clean messy desks, whether people want things tidying up or not. And because you're doing office after office, you will find that you'll experience those particular client locations gets better. So your service quality will get better because you have more experience about what to expect and how to manage it, the questions to ask, how to manage the client for these clients. And service quality means you get better reviews, better word of mouth. So you will be known as the office cleaning company in your area, not just another cleaning company. So if someone who is, say, an office manager has 20 people within the company, they will have a look at your website and think, okay, yeah, these guys, they just do office cleaning just for our size. Actually, this is exactly who we're looking for. And this is where the pricing power term comes in really important, because if you are a specialist and people see that you're a specialist, pricing is important, but actually the quality of service is, in my opinion, even more important. So often people just want a job doing and doing right, because if you are, say, an office manager and you've been tasked with trying to get a cleaning company to clean the office, you don't want to be micromanaging that cleaning company because they're missing things every time they come. You want the job doing properly, and you will pay, you or the business owners of that office will be happy to pay a bit extra because you are the specialist in the area, and they won't have to handhold us step by step. So we can charge more as well. So what that means is that we specialize, the service quality is better, we get better reviews, better ratings, and that allows us to increase our prices relative to being a generalist cleaning company. Point 2 is important as well, because if we are looking to grow a business and get up towards the seven-figure annual revenue target, which many people are, marketing and advertising will be a really, really important part of the process. So again, if we are looking to advertise in Google Ads, and we'll go into this in a bit more detail further in the course, but Google Ads, it allows us to put our advert in front of certain people depending on what they're searching for. So say someone goes to Google and types in office cleaning company Houston, for example, and we are an office cleaning company based in Houston, we can create an advert that says specialist office cleaning company in Houston. We can have our website, the home page that says we are specialist office cleaning office cleaners, cleaning offices with this size. You can see how that will be far more interesting and relevant for that person searching than if you just had an advert that said cleaning company or general cleaning company or domestic and office cleaning company or commercial cleaning company. It's far vaguer. Those people are less likely to want to click on your advert, and if they go to your website and again it just says cleaning company in Houston, that is not particularly exciting. That doesn't particularly get that person to want to pick up the phone and find out a bit more information. So by specializing, this allows us to get laser targeted with our marketing campaign. So that is both the advert and it's also our website as well. So this is really, really important. And it means that we're far more likely to convert someone who has gone to our website from someone just purely visiting to actually someone picking up the phone and wanting to find out more about our services. So these 2 points here, where specialization allows us to charge higher prices, and it allows our conversion rates from someone just browsing our website to actually picking up the phone to call us better as well. And this final point is on SEO. And again, we'll go into this in a bit more detail in the marketing modules later on in the course. But SEO refers to the process where Google ranks our website high up in the search results or low down, depending on how relevant they think our website is for the person searching. So again, if someone types in office cleaning company Houston, and we have a website that has lots of titles and lots of words related to office cleaning in Houston. Maybe there's testimonials from office managers. The images are of offices in Houston. All these things, Google will look at your website page and say, okay, this page is really, really relevant because it talks lots about office cleaning and it talks lots about Houston, has images, videos, all these sorts of things. So what we'll do is we'll put that company website higher up in the Google search results. So specialization allows us to get the benefit of SEO as well. And SEO is so important because as you get to become a larger business, getting towards a 7-figure level, well over 50% of your traffic will come from this SEO. So this is not to be underestimated, but we'll go into this in a bit more detail later on in the course. So cleaner recruitment is the next category. So it takes a very similar sort of process to marketing. But here what we're looking at it is in terms of the cleaning staff themselves. So if you are a generic cleaning company, you have some offices, you have some restaurants, you have some houses, and you take on a new cleaner, it might be quite likely that your cleaner will do all those different types of client types. So they might be cleaning a restaurant in the morning, and then in the afternoon go to some house for a house cleaning, and then in the evening an office clean. The issue with that is that by spreading that cleaner across lots of different client types, they get less experience cleaning of each type. And if they come across a problem at say someone's home, maybe the oven is really, really dirty, because they are only doing relatively few house cleanings, because they are doing restaurants, because they're doing offices, they'll be less likely to recall what's the best way to clean this. Whereas if they're doing 3 or 4 house cleaning jobs a day and they're doing 3 or 4 ovens a day, they'll quickly know which what method to use to make sure the oven comes out really nice and clean, what products to use. So there is, as you specialize, the cleaners will get better experienced cleaning for those clients. They will get more expertise, And what that will mean is they'll get better ratings and better reviews. And that means, if recognition is a really, really huge part of having happy staff. So happier staff means that they stay with you for longer. They will refer their friends and family who may also be cleaners to your company. And staff turnover is a huge killer in this industry. So the happier your staff, the more engaged your staff, the longer your staff will stay with you. So this is really, really not to be underestimated. So, specialization can really help, lead us to happier and more loyal staff. And again, in the on the advertising side, as you get larger and larger, you will need to put money into paid recruitment adverts. And again, an advert, if you're looking for a cleaner, say you're looking for you're a specialist office cleaning company in Houston. You're looking for office cleaners who do these hours. If you have an advert that talks directly to that, you will likely only be getting applications from people who are willing and able to and happy to clean for offices during these hours. Whereas if you have a recruitment advert that just says cleaning company, or we're looking for cleaners in Houston, you will be getting people who do lots of different, maybe they've done some move out cleaning, maybe they've done some restaurant bar cleaning. You'll be getting lots and lots of different types of applicants, some of whom may have very, very little experience. And it just means that, you're probably getting more volume, but then you also need to spend the time to sift through those people. And it just takes time and resource to find the right cleaner for your company. So by being laser targeted, you can be laser targeted by specialization as well. And as I said, the better retention is a real big thing as well, because often the complaints and bad feedback arises when there's changes in the staff that are cleaning a client. So the longer we can retain people for, and the happier they are, the better. And this will really, really help with the growth of our business as well. So putting it all together, what does that mean for scaling and growth? So as I said, from the client marketing perspective, specialization allows us to charge higher prices. Specialization allows us to have a happier and more engaged staff. And really, these two things allows us to have much higher profits and much higher growth. So really, really important that, specialization forms a key part of our strategy to begin with. Word of mouth is really important, because people will often talk about specialist companies. Very rarely will if you think about your day-to-day life, if you have a generalist company, say for example in the supermarket or the grocery store niche, if there's a grocery store that sells lots of different products, it's rare that someone will tell their friends, oh, there's a great grocery store down the road, they sell everything and anything. Whereas if there's like quite a specialist store that's open, say they just do organic fruit and it's delicious, they're far more likely to to tell your friends about that, if that's a really great place to buy organic fruit. So you can apply this to multiple areas of your life, but generally word of mouth is better and stronger if you have a specialist service that is different or worth talking about to friends. And this word of mouth referral is really important, because as we all know, the best clients tend to come from referrals. So the more we can accelerate referral conversations, the better. And then this final point is important when we start thinking about stepping away from the business and having office managers or admin staff running the business for us. Because again, if you are a specialist office cleaning business and all your clients are the same types of companies, it's going to be much easier for your office manager, when they're speaking to a new potential client, to say, okay, this is what we do, these are the types of problems we come across, this is the type of approach we use. And if they have an existing client and maybe there's been a problem or a complaint, they'll be far easier for them to recall what the best approach is, how to rectify that problem. Whereas if they are doing office cleaning, window cleaning, move out cleaning, commercial cleaning, they have so many different scenarios and so many different things, that they could so much information that they could recall, that it gets much harder. So a new client, they might be able to not as effectively sell to that new client as if they're a specialist. Or if there's a complaint, they might not be able to remedy that complaint as well, because they have less experience dealing with it, because they are doing all types of different cleaning. So this specialization helps with your office manager as well. So really not to be underestimated, particularly as you're looking to step away from the business and grow from that point onwards. So at this point, we've sort of mapped out the importance of specialization, and we've mapped out the benefits of specializing. So here we'll just go into a bit more detail, and this slide is relevant whether you are a house cleaning business, whether you're an office cleaning business, whether you're an oven cleaning business, windows, floor cleaning, whatever type of cleaning niche you're in, it is relevant. And these are the different ways you can think about how you specialize. And you can specialize in lots of different ways, but these are the main ones that I think of when I'm looking at my own business. So the first one here is just talking about residential versus commercial. So this is probably the most, the first point of call for most people. So there's various pros and cons, and you need to weigh those up when thinking, do I go residential or commercial? Because as I said, it's better to choose residential or commercial. It's better to choose one-off or recurring. It's better to figure out what your specialization is rather than doing all these things together. So on the residential versus commercial debate, there were various pros and cons. So, for example, in the commercial space, because the contracts seem to be can be quite big. If you add one contractor a week, or 2 or 3 a month, your growth can go up pretty quickly. So, if you are specializing in commercial cleaning rather than residential, you might find that your growth rate goes, it can accelerate quite quickly. But on the negative side, if all your revenue is tied up in 3 or 4 clients and one of them leaves, then you have a revenue concentration risk. So if one of them leaves or cancels, then suddenly you have a big gap in your revenue stream. You have all these cleaners that are no longer working. What happens to those cleaners? How do you replace that revenue? That is a much bigger concentration risk than, say, in the residential cleaning business, where you might have instead of 5 clients, you might have 50 clients. So if 1 or 2 of those 50 leaves, then the overall revenue impact and cleaner impact is much less. So, in this occasion, you got your residential cleaning, it grows not as quickly as commercial, but there is less risk if one of those clients leaves. And then a couple of the other pros and cons to think about is the, commercial cleaning. It tends to be after hours when people are either, not at the office, or say you're doing restaurant or bar cleaning, when customers aren't in the restaurant, or when people have left. So, if there are people on site outside of office hours, then you will need to think about an admin team, an office manager, are they online during these evenings and weekends? Whereas a residential cleaning business, you will have an office manager likely during the day, so 9 till 5, Monday through Friday. So, thinking about who, if there is a problem, and who the cleaners at that time would call. Would they call you, or they call an office manager? And how you set that up, because if you're managing the office, if you're managing all the operations, and you've got some cleaners at a local restaurant, and they call you at 2 p.m. because something in the kitchen is broken, do you want to be fielding calls in the middle of the night? Whereas if there's an issue with residential, then most problems will happen during the day, and it's far easier that far more likely you'll be around to pick up the phone, or you have an office manager to do that. And then the final thing is just on the payment terms. So, on the payment, most commercial clients will pay, at the end of the month, or, in a month's time, or 2 months, or 3 months time. So there is a cash flow issue potentially, because you will likely be paying your cleaning staff for the work they've done in that month, at the end of the month, whereas you may only get the payment from that client, say, in 30 days after the end of the month, or 60 days, or 90 days. And even in some cases, as we find, some clients are better payers than others. So you may need to chase outstanding invoices. So the longer that lag is from paying the cleaners to actually receiving the cash from the client, the longer that lag is, the worse it is for your cash flow. And again, obviously in the residential space, clients tend to pay pretty quickly, particularly if you're using online payment methods or online payment processes. So the payment cash flow issue is less of a concern here. So there are obviously other pros and cons here, but if you're thinking about residential or commercial, these are some of the pros and cons that you want to be thinking about. The next group is just talking about one-offs versus recurring revenue. So again, let's take a couple of examples. So say we had a move out clean, which is obviously a one-off clean, versus someone, say we have a house cleaning client that asks us to come in every week. That's a recurring service. The likelihood is that your pricing for your one-off job will be much higher. So your profit per job will be higher for a one-off job than a recurring job. So say you had 5 one-off jobs and 5 recurring jobs, the overall, assuming the same profit, assuming the same pricing, your profit will probably be higher for your one-off jobs rather than your recurring jobs. And that's just the nature of how this industry is set up. So looking at it purely from that, if we're getting more profit from 5 one-off jobs than we are from 5 recurring jobs, then maybe it makes sense to do one-off work. But then again, there are various advantages for recurring revenues, and really this revenue visibility is a big one. So if we get to the end of the month, and then we're trying to look forward to the next month and thinking about, okay, what revenue are we generating next month? We've got an office to pay for, we've got software subscriptions to pay for, we've got equipment that needs paying for. If you are focused purely on one-off jobs, you really start the new month from zero, and that can lead to uncertainty and worry and anxiety. Whereas if you have lots of recurring clients who we know are going to be paying every week or every 2 weeks, then there is much less stress and much better visibility in your business, and maybe you're able to better plan going forwards. So one-off versus recurring, there are pros and cons for both, and it really just depends on how happy you are to weigh up the higher margin from one-off jobs versus the reduced visibility or reduced revenue visibility of these one-off jobs. And then these are a couple of other things to think about. So if you on the marketing needs side, if you have recurring clients, then your calendar is filled up to a degree every week. So if it's one-off, then you will need to be much more active in terms of marketing. You'll need to know you need to be putting into money into marketing every week to try and fill that calendar up. So there's a much greater focus on marketing that is required. And then the final thing is just scheduling. So again, this is an issue that you'll come across as your business gets larger. So, scheduling becomes an issue if you've got lots of different cleaners and lots of different jobs that are based in different locations, and trying to match cleaner availability to the clients at a specific time and specific location can be a bigger issue than if you have recurring jobs where you can allocate a certain cleaner to that job every week. They know where they're going, it's booked out in advance, so there is much less potential for scheduling issues. So one-off versus recurring is another way we can think about it. Obviously, there are lots of businesses where, you know, they do a mix. We do some one-offs, we do some recurrings. But what I'm really trying to do here is get you into the thought process that you should think about, okay, and you know, really, what am I, where am I, what's the most attractive area for me? You know, do I really want to be focused more on recurring? And if that's the case, that's great, and that's where you should focus your efforts. And then the final thing is, you know, really looking at the service types. So this would be where you're thinking about your equipment needs and training needs. So if you have an oven cleaning business, for example, you know, are we recruiting people with oven cleaning experience? You know, the labor pool part here, it refers to how much availability is there of people like that. What is the availability of people with oven cleaning experience? It's probably much less than people who have house cleaning experience or just general cleaning experience. So, you know, if you're thinking about growing a large oven cleaning business, you may be restricted by how many people with prior experience you have. You also need to thinking about costs. So, you know, you might be able to hire a house cleaner for, say, $15 an hour, but an oven cleaning person with experience may cost $20 or 25, or, you know, these numbers are numbers that I've just made up, but you get the idea that, you know, again, what we're seeing is that the more specialist the labor, the smaller the pool of labor and the more expensive they are as well. So say you have an oven cleaning business, you probably need a vehicle, you know, to take the oven cleaning equipment from property to property, and there'll be various, you know, specialist products you need, specialist equipment as well. And you can contrast that to, say, a house cleaning business where maybe you know, you require all the house cleaning clients to have a mop and a bucket and a vacuum at the property, and maybe you just need to take some cleaning products with you. You can see that there's much less demand for equipment and vehicles here. And then the final part is just on the training needs. So again, you know, the training to go into house cleaning may be less than a more specialist product like oven cleaning or window cleaning. But again, what we're saying is that if you are running a more specialist business, say it's ovens or say it's windows, then maybe that specialization allows you to price your services higher. So you can afford to pay your labor more, you can afford to buy equipment, these sorts of things. So number 3 is where we think about the actual service type. But you need to be thinking of these things, you know, particularly when you're thinking about growing your business, because, you know, particularly the labor pool and the cost, you know, these things you need to take a very close eye on, because, you know, recruitment is a difficult part of this business. It's one of the most challenging parts of this business, and you want to be making sure that you're not paying too much in your labor costs, that you're not making any profits at the end of the day. So this is just talking about what I do within my own cleaning business. So my own cleaning business is called Neat. You know, we're in 4 cities in the UK, headquartered in London. So you can see here, you know, what I've done is at the beginning, we did lots of different cleaning. We did house cleaning, we did some office cleaning. But now we're very focused on just house cleaning, residential cleaning. So as I said here, specialization makes it easier to optimize text and image copy. So what that means is that, you know, we talk about house cleaners, you know, this is, you know, a vacuum hoover here. These are individual people rather than offices or ovens, or, you know, all the pictures and images. This is a picture of the front of a house. All the images point to a house cleaning service. So if your text and your images look more specialist to a potential client, they're more likely to convert from visitor to actual client. Because if your adverts are talking about being a specialist house cleaning company, then if someone's looking for an office cleaning company, they're not going to click your advert. But someone who's looking for a house cleaning company will click on your advert. They will come to your website and they'll see that you specialize in this, and you're more likely to get an inquiry from them. And that's obviously means that you'll get a better conversion rate from them. These couple of things are points that people often get distracted with. So you'll find as your company starts growing that you'll get people saying, oh, can you clean my oven for me? Or can you clean windows? Or is there a company that you can suggest that can do that for me? And one of the things you don't want to do, given how important specialization is to dilute your efforts into those other areas. So don't look to hire someone with oven cleaning experience, and don't look to buy a vehicle with specialist equipment. You should be focused on your core service, and further down the line, as we do, we actually send leads from that we get for, say, oven cleaning, window cleaning to partners. So we partner up with various oven cleaning companies, window cleaning companies. We just forward them the details. So if a client calls us and says, have you got a recommendation? We tell them yes, we work with this company, and we send them the details, and we actually get a payment for each lead that we send those third-party companies that we partner up with. But as I said, really important not to give this too much thought. Until you're a large business and making multiple hundred thousands a year, don't even think about this, because it's much more important that your energies and efforts are focused on your core service offering and making that as good as possible. So this slide, so up to this point, we have really focused on, your service, and really hopefully drill down how important it is to specialize, all the multiple benefits of it, the different ways that we can specialize. So the second part is thinking about your coverage area, because this is really, really important, because we need to define the boundary of where we operate our services. Is it so many miles or kilometers from say our office, say 10 miles, or is it a travel time, say is it half an hour from our office? Whatever it is, it's really important that we define that, because we don't want to be getting client inquiries, as I say on this top bullet, and thinking, okay, well, this is a $500 job, okay, I'm going to travel a bit further for that because it makes sense. That is absolutely not the way to do it, because you want to be very clear in your mind what you offer and what you don't. So you need to be clear in your mind, what is your service, what is your specialization service type, and you need to be very clear on what your location is, and you stick to it. Because this final point here is really, really key, because unpaid travel time is one of the biggest profit killers in this business. And I don't say this lightly, because if you think, say you have 2 jobs in a day, going from job 1 to job 2, there is that gap in between where you are not being paid for your time by any client, but it is likely that you will need to be paying your cleaners some amount. What that amount is, it differs by location and employment laws and all these sorts of things. But importantly, that is just loss-making time, because you're not generating revenue between that. So if you have an hour gap between 2 jobs, you need to pay for your cleaners for that hour. If it's 15 minutes, it's just 15 minutes. So there's less lost time here. And the reason this is so important is because in this industry, it is very, very easy for your costs to go out of control. So, you may be spending a little bit too much in this area, a little bit too much there, a little bit too much on travel, a little bit too much on your office rent. And then what you can find is that you can be running quite a big business in terms of revenue and number of clients, but at the end of the day, the profit you generate for you as the business owner is very little, or even negative in some cases. So travel time is one of the big killers, big profit killers. So we want to make sure that we try to keep as tight as possible, while having enough demand, but not having it too broad that we are spending all our time traveling and just a small proportion of that time actually making revenue, because you'll find that you run a loss-making business. So defining your coverage area is really, really important, and don't underestimate the potentially catastrophic consequences of having too much travel time between your jobs. So as I said here, you know, the picture of the traffic is a classic example, because generally, if you have, you know, longer time between job one and job two, it gives more potential for lateness, more potential for things to go wrong, more potential to be stuck in traffic. If you're taking public transport, you know, like the train, maybe there's more likelihood that the train will get delayed, or you know, there'll be an issue on the trains, the subways, all these sorts of things. So, you know, try to keep it as tight as you can, because, as I said on the previous slide, if you know, you're not being compensated for your labor time, so you will either need to absorb the cost, or you will need to pass it on to your clients. So if you're passing it on to your clients through higher pricing, that will impact your conversion rates, that will impact how many clients you take on. So to the degree that is possible, it is far better to focus all your efforts in a very small area and to gradually expand it from there, rather than saying, okay, I cover all these areas, because what you'll find is that you become very, very busy. You will think you're very busy, but actually what you're doing is just being very busy with your travel time, and you are, you know, incurring cost rather than generating revenue. So to summarize this module, you know, as I said, this is really, really important that we think about this in a lot of detail, whether we are a new business or an established business, because, you know, if we don't have this specialization at the beginning, there is no way to be recipient to the multiple benefits of specialization. So we talked about the benefits of specialization from client marketing. We talked, you know, through the higher price, and we talked about the benefits of specialization in your recruitment. You'll have a better and more engaged workforce that stay with you for longer, and putting those together, that will mean that the growth of your business will accelerate. As I said, it is very easy to be distracted by new and shiny things as you're getting started. So, you know, you may be have some inquiries, some oven cleaning inquiries, and think, okay, I haven't done that before. It's a new service. It'd be great to learn a bit about it. Why don't we try that? And what you find is that you get distracted. Your attention focus moves away from your core offering to this other area, and your core service suffers. And by adding on this new area, you're diluting the benefits of specialization as well. So don't get stuck in this trap of looking to cross-sell other services too early on. And then this final point is really important, and we obviously covered this in the latter part of this module, but it is much better to be very, very targeted with where you're focused on for your coverage area. And if you need to get more clients, you can gradually increase this out, but it is much better to use that as an approach than rather than saying, okay, we're going to cover this huge area, we're going to be driving from all over, you know, one end of town to the other. It is much better to start small and increase it to minimize the negative impacts of this non-revenue generating travel time. So really important. I hope I've really reiterated this point a number of times, but specialization is really, really key. Once you know both the service type, the client type, and your location that you're going to be specializing in, it will just make the whole running of your business much easier. It will be much easier to think about marketing. It will be much easier to think about recruitment, and it will also become very important when you look on to take your your first office manager as you look to grow your business. So I hope that's been helpful, and then in the next module we'll go into some further details